Very good morning, students. Very good morning. Today we are going to study about the topic of the salient feature of our constitution. Actually, in the last class we discussed about the framing of the constitution and about the constitutional assembly. So today we are going to talk about the salient feature of our constitution. Our means the Indian constitution. You know about the which is the written constitution and flexible, rigid, and fundamental rights, fundamental duties. So these are the main features of our Indian constitution. So let's see about the first topic, the written constitution. So India is the written constitution, very clear. But one country is the example for the unwritten constitution. Which country? Yes, England. England is the example for unwritten constitution. It is the written constitution. Then is very detailed. Indian constitution is written very detailed and longest. According to Ivor Jennings, saying about the Indian constitution written and detailed in the world, which is the longest in the world. The Indian constitution which is the longest in the world. So when the making of the Indian constitution, there was 395 articles, 8 schedules and 22 parts. But now the Indian constitution there was 448 articles, 25 parts and 12 schedules, which is very important for the Indian. So the 9 schedules when the making of the Indian constitution. So which is our written constitution of our India. So the England is the example for the unwritten constitution. Okay. The next topic is the rigid, non-flexible. What's the meaning of rigid and non-flexible? The partly flexible and partly rigid. Okay. Partly flexible, partly rigid. So usually the written constitution is called flexible or rigid. Rigid. But unwritten constitution is example for flexible. So England is the example for the flexible and the America and the India is example for the rigid. So partly flexible and partly rigid. So some amendments can be moved in the either house of the parliament and must be adopted by the majority of the total membership at present and voting. Thereafter it go for the legislative assembly, then they must adopt the double majority. So which is very rigid to make the law. But some amendments are very easy, which is very flexible to make the law. Some amendment can be moved either house of the parliament and must be adopted by the simple majority of the total membership present and voting. Okay. Thereafter it go for the president to assent. But the rigid is very hard to make the law. But flexible is very easy to make the law. So partly flexible and partly rigid is our Indian constitution. So I said that which is the rigid, which is the flexible of England government and America and India. So India is the example for the partly flexible and partly rigid. So next preamble. Actually Indian constitution has the preamble. Indian constitution has the preamble. What's the preamble? Actually, which is the soul of our Indian constitution. Actually, the constitution defines that sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic country. Okay. So, what's the meaning of sovereignty? Yes, sovereignty means power or supreme. The power is unlimited and indivisible. So, it is the power. And second one is socialist. Socialist is brotherhood, the friendship, the friendly nations. We are calling the friendly nations. We are eager to live in the friendly nation. So, secularism. The secularism is one of the main features of our Indian constitution because all are free to profess and to practice any religion in our India. It is only making the India as a secular state. Okay. So the both were socialist and secularism. The both were for the first time in history. For the first time in history, the both were socialist and secularism has been added to the preamble by the 42nd, in of the Constitution of Act 1976. Okay. So for the first time in history, which was amended into the preamble of the Constitution Act the 1976. So the both were only socialist and secularist. But when the making of the preamble, they does not annex the socialist and secularist. So next, this democratic. What's a democratic? What is a democratic? Democracy defines that as a government of the people, by the people, for the people. It's the democracy. Okay? It's a republic. And the last one is a republic. What's a republic? Republic is the country in which constitution written and implemented. So when we attend the republic, actually unfortunately we got the freedom in 1947. But originally we got the freedom in 1950. We got the freedom in 1950. Actually in the 1950 January 26, we implemented the Indian Constitution. So that country is called Republic. So the country is Constitution written and implemented. So which country is called the Republic country. So up to the 1950 we did not write any Constitution. So we did not call the Republic country. We only got the freedom from the colonialism. So it is the Republic. Okay. So the democracy and Republic. So why we are celebrating the Republic on the January 26? On January 26, why we took the date of January 26? Because our original Freedom Day we are celebrating as the January 26. But unfortunately we got the freedom on August 15. Okay. But just to remember the memorable for we took the same date, January 26. So, okay. So, the socialism, the sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic is our preamble. The next, federalism. So, federalism. Actually, India having the 28 states or 29 states? 28 states. Okay. 28 states and 9 union territories because the Jammu Kashmir. Because there is a partition of the Jammu and Kashmir. So, 28 states and 9 union territories. So, federalism. We are following the full-fledged federalism or quasi-federalism? Yes, quasi-federalism. We are following only the quasi-federalism because then which country is the example for the full-fledged federalism? USA. USA is example. They are giving the importance to the state government. But we have only the strong union government. If you see about the central state and the concurrent list, in the central list, the central government can make the law. In the state list, the state government can make the law. But in the concurrent is the general list. Ordinary, the both government have the right to make the law, but most of the time the central government have the right and enforce the law in the concurrent list. So the federalism is India is followed the quasi-federalism. So not the full-fledged federalism. Okay. So America is the A very good example for the full-fledged federalism. So India not follow the full-fledged federalism. So which is called the quasi-federalism. Okay. Then next, the parliament form of country. Parliament form of country is also a mention about the democracy. Already I said that which is the democracy. Democracy defines that as a government of people, by the people, for the people. So democracy country. In the democracy country, actually the democracy, we are following the direct democracy or indirect democracy? Indirect democracy is not followed. We are not following the direct democracy. So which country is the example for the direct democracy? Switzerland. Switzerland is the example for direct democracy. But we are following only the indirect democracy. What is the difference between the direct and indirect democracy? In the direct democracy, we can recall the representative. But in the indirect democracy, we have the not right to recall the representative, because in the indirect democracy, the representative elected or selected for the parliament. It is called the indirect democracy. That's also we are implementing. Okay. So it is indirect democracy. So direct democracy, indirect democracy is the different. So India is the example for the indirect democracy, in which in the indirect democracy we have the both set of the government, central and state legislature. We study about the central, there is a division about Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So in the direct democracy, the president is the nominal head, not the real head. Who is the real head of our Indian parliament? Prime Minister and ministers. They are the collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. So who is the responsible of Lok Sabha? That the ministers are responsible to the parliament, Lok Sabha. So the total member is Lok Sabha is 545. The Rajya Sabha total member is 250. In which the 543 the elected members, the two nominated from the which community? Anglo-Indian. They are nominated person. Okay. So similarly, the Rajya Sabha, the total member is 250. 238 from the state representative. But who is nominated by the president, nominated by the president. So this is the set of the parliament democracy of our India. Okay. Next, the fundamental rights. What is the fundamental rights? Actually, the fundamental rights, the system was borrowed from the which country? America. From America. What is the fundamental? Fundamental right means fundamental. They are basic to the development of the human personality. That's called the fundamental. Actually, originally they provided the 7 categories of fundamental rights. But the one right was removed by the list of fundamental rights. The which rights was removed by which amendment? 44th Amendment. The Property Act was removed by, the 44th Amendment was removed by the 44th Amendment. So now there are only the 6 fundamental rights. Okay? You know about the fundamental rights, the 6 fundamental rights? Right to equality, right to freedom, right to against exploitation, right to religious rights, cultural and educational right, right to constitutional remedies. Okay? So these are the main 6 fundamental rights. Right to equality, right to freedom, in which the child abolition is the important article for the competitive exam. The most of the examination they are asking the child abolition. The 23 and 24. which is a very important act of the prohibition of the human trafficking and the child abolition of the child labor. The both are the very important act, 23 and 24. Okay. So under the cultural educational rights and the secularism and the minorities, they given the rights to the minorities institute. So these are explaining about in the fundamental rights. Okay. So in which the very important right, one important right is in the constitutional remedies. Which rights? The Ambedkar described as the heart and soul of our Indian Constitution. You know which right? The which right is the heart and soul of Indian Constitution? Article 32. Article 32. So Article 32 is described as the soul and the soul of our Indian Constitution. Yeah, as Ambedkar said. So it is very important of the fundamental rights. The next is fundamental duties. Okay, the fundamental duties. What is the fundamental duties? So originally they did not annex the fundamental duties on the making of the Indian Constitution. But later, by the 42nd Amendment in 1976, they annexed the fundamental duties to the Indian Constitution. So you know about what is the fundamental duties. So actually the fundamental duties, the system of fundamental duties were borrowed from which country? Yes, Russia, which is the Russia model. Okay. So the fundamental, you know about the fundamental duties. We should respect the national flag. We should respect the national song. We should respect the national heritage place. So many things. So when the making of the fundamental duties, there was only 10 fundamental duties. But now there is only one fundamental added to the fundamental duties. So now there are 11 fundamental duties in the Indian Constitution. So what is the 11 fundamental duties? What's the 11 fundamental duties? The 11 fundamental duties was added to the fundamental duties of the Constitution was by the 86th Amendment. By the 86th Amendment and the Constitution of Act 2007. Okay. So the 11th fundamental duty is the parent or guardian are responsible to provide the education for their child. Okay. So their duties to provide the free education. I think up to the 14 age, we must give the free education to our child. So it is our important duty. Okay, the fundamental duties. So very important topic. Directive principle of state policy. This system was borrowed from which country? Yes, Ireland. Directive principle of state policy. So what is the difference between the fundamental right, fundamental duties and directive principle of state policy? Actually fundamental rights is our duty. Is our duty? No. Fundamental duties only our duty. The fundamental rights is given by the Indian Constitution. But fundamental duties is our duty to our Constitution. But what's the directive principle of state policy? Is our duty? The Constitution duty? It's the Constitution only. It's based on the Constitution only. Because which is the guidelines? Which is the guidelines for making the law only. It is not affect any social, cultural, without any culture and social. They are making the directive principle of state policy. Okay. So to improve the cultural and social under which we can lead a good life. So this is the directive principle of state policy. And also it can be classified into 3 categories. Social principle, Gandhian principle and liberal intellectual principle. So these are the very important topic in the Indian constitution, because they can only make the good nation. Before they make the law, they must see about the all social and cultural. Without affecting anybody, any social and cultural, they can make the law. So the directive principle of state policy borrowed from the higher law. Okay. The next topic is citizenship. What is a citizen? We enjoyed the double citizenship or single citizenship? Single citizen. But which country is example for the double citizen? America. But normally in the federalism, the full-fledged federalism country, the people enjoy the double citizenship. But our constitution provides only the single citizenship. Okay? So we are free to move to any country. Sorry, any country. The whole country. The whole India, you can free to move anywhere. So which is the right of the single citizens. Okay? The next, universal attendance. Universal attendance. The voting age. What is the voting age? For the Lok Sabha or any election? 18. But before that, the voting age was 21. So, by 61 amendment, 61th amendment of the Constitution Act 1988, 61 amendment, the Constitution Act 1988, they reduced the voting age from 21 to 18 for the election to select the representative. Okay? So, this is the universal adult process. Next topic, it's important topic, judicial review. What's the judicial review? It was borrowed from the England. Okay? It's borrowed from England, judicial review. The Supreme Court is vested of power of the judicial. Actually, the judicial power, the Supreme Court can invalidate the law passed by Parliament or state legislature. So it has the more power in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has the vested power. So it is called the judicial review. It's important. Rule of law. What's the rule of law? The rule of law, it was borrowed from the which country? Britain. Also the Britain. Okay, England. It was borrowed from the Britain. So what's the meaning of rule of law? Which is all are equal before law. That no one above the law. So which article mentioning about the rule of law in our Indian Constitution? You know which article? Article 14. This is in the right to equality. The topic is in the right to equality. So which mentions about the rule of law. So all are equals. They provide the equal rights. You may see about the all personalities or popular persons are going to prison and ordinary persons are going to prison. That's the rule of law. But one country is example for the administrative law. The which country? There was the separate court for the ruling person. France. The France is example for the administrative law. But we are following the rule of law. So it is a very important one of the Indian Constitution. Okay?